to look at the entirety of the tape, which many even on the right say is exculpatory for her, you will see a person who has a very Marxist way of looking at the world. And the hornet's nest here is Pigford. Now that I've given you a word to Google, you will see that she was part of a class action lawsuit with her husband, Charles Sherrod. It's the black farmers discrimination lawsuit that has its basis in the 1980s.
Wait, hold on. I intimated this last week, Andrew, because I saw it in passing. She sued the government before she got her job. Is that right?
Yes, and she got $300,000 distribution in it. But what happened is, and Steve King, the congressman from Iowa, has been investigating this for forever, and he said on another radio show that there's about 95 to 96% fraud in this thing. And when you want to talk about redistribution of wealth, in essence, a new supplemental this initial settlement from years ago had a statute of limitations. In a latest military budget, $1.5 billion was put in there to be a supplemental fund to fund this program to pay black farmers who were quote-unquote discriminated against. And according to Congressman King, it's rife with fraud, and more people are applying for money from this than there are black farmers in the country. And
oh, my God, what a story that is. You think Bob Schieffer will cover that little side story, Andrew?
Look, listen, you have to understand, you got to pay attention to this thing, and I'm really in the weeds right now. But isn't it interesting that she got fired so quickly? When I'm the guy that brought down Acorn, I can't take credit for thinking this thing through. We stumbled upon a rock. You pick up the rock, and she was part of the class action lawsuit against the government. The government, upon its settlement, hires her and puts her in charge. And so she's in charge of the distribution. And people are basically coming in there and saying, yeah, I wanted to be a farmer back in the 1980s, but I knew that I couldn't because I was black, and therefore I want a check, and they're getting distribution checks on this.
Oh, my God almighty, what a story this is, Andrew. This is a much bigger story than the NAACP tape, isn't it?
We stumbled upon it, and I think that that's why it took a couple days for Barack Obama, who quickly fired her thinking, I can't have people looking into this. And I think what's conspicuous is it took 2 days, and when they gave her a job, they didn't give her job back. They gave her another job.
We're speaking with Andrew Breitbart. If you have a question or a comment, a quick one now. Don't ask him how he is. Don't tell him you love him. You're on the Savage Nation. This is not a personal phone call. Fire away, and then we're going to take it off the air, meaning you're going to hang right up. Patricia, New York, from WOR. What's your question for Andrew Breitbart?
I have a comment. I heard his old statement, and I believe him 100%. I think that Shirley did both a mea culpa.
Wait, please. Please, I don't want editorializing. I'd like a question then.
Do you think that it was the NAACP that dropped the dime on Shirley?
Andrew, you want to answer that one? Andrew, would you answer that?
I'm back. What's interesting about the NAACP here is that they're saying that there was a rush to judgment by Andrew Breitbart. I'm the one in my initial post granted her exculpatory narrative that said that she, helped the white farmer. It was the NAACP that possessed the full video when this all transpired, and they threw her under the bus. I think that that's incredibly conspicuous here, that the NAACP did not come in and support Shirley Sherrod.
Andrew, where can the people read more about the lawsuit that this poor victim, Shirley Sherrod, the lawsuit that she inflicted on the government, the settlement? I understand it was something like $9 million that was dispersed, and she got a piece of it. And then they gave her a job. Where is all of this written? Where do we get the whole story on that?
Well, it's about 13. All you have to do is type in Pigford, Pigford, into Google, Pigford settlement, and it's a very big story that we're just starting to get our hands around because everybody is sending emails saying, I can't believe you guys stumbled upon this massive story. So we're just getting our hands around this thing. But this speaks to the redistributive change that Barack Obama intimated. And think about this. They just pulled out that $1.5 billion last week while all of this was happening from a military bill. And I don't know if this is the case, but imagine this.
Wait. You're saying they removed the $1.5 billion out of the military budget after the story broke?
With a lot of other non-military funds, so it wasn't the only thing. It's not as clean as it would appear. But think about this. The Barack Obama was elected on an anti-war platform.
Right.
But now you have the Democrats going along with military spending of epic proportion to fight the war in Afghanistan.
Right.
How do they do it? In my estimation, they hide this redistribution into military bills to get Republicans to sign on.
Right. All the anti-war leftists like Boxer got pork on the side along with spending for the war, which nobody knows why we are there. We're speaking with Andrew Breitbart. Again, if you have a quick comment, keep it to yourself. If you have a quick question, call 1-800-449-8255. It's the Savage Nation. Back in a minute.
Savage.
So the far left wing of the National Socialist Party has taken over the United States of America. It's called the Democrats under Pelosi and Reid, Boxer, Feinstein, Franken. And their playbook includes dirty tricks, dismissing any criticism, no matter how legitimate, as illegitimate, categorizing anyone who opposes their policies as racist. We've seen it all. It started in the 1960s at the universities, which have become nothing but institutions of lower living. And now we're seeing the White House, which is actually an extension of the universities rather than anything else. It's as though we're all living in one big university where the big lie is spread every day by the White House and the government media complex. And standing against this big lie has been talk radio, the Internet, and, of course, Andrew Breitbart is in the eye of the hurricane. He's joining us now again on the Savage Nation. Andrew, welcome back to the program. I understand you're going to be speaking very shortly with the National Association of Black Journalists. Tell us about that.
I'm going to San Diego because I'm not hiding from my critics. If I have nothing to hide here, I can prove to people that the reason why this is happening is because I dared to stand up to the fake allegation that the N-word was said. I initially was hurled at multiple black congressmen the day before the health care bill was passed. And so at first...
Hold it. I want to make it clear. You said, of course, there was no N-word. It's all invention. I want to make that clear.
Well, the way these guys were hogging the cameras and the mainstream media was playing up the false allegation, and the Tea Party had to go on the defensive again. When did you stop beating your... But,
Andrew, back in the 1960s, when the military was recruiting on campuses, the left were using a tactics well known to the communists called agents provocateurs. I'm sure you're familiar with that, where the opposition takes a position opposite to what they actually believe in order to embarrass their political enemies. So if there was an N-word thrown around here and there, or there is a poster or something derogatory towards Obama that may be marginally racist, you can bet your boots it's the Democrats themselves who are doing it, Andrew.
Well, I can prove that. John Podesta, who is my mortal enemy. Are you hearing me, John? This guy runs Think Progress, and he took videos of a plant of a person who infiltrated a Tea Party trying to, claim that he was a Nazi and a racist. And he was escorted out by Tea Party people who saw that this was an obvious plant. They escorted him out. Think Progress, which is John Podesta's operation, edited out the part where he was taken out as a means to cleverly and mischievously and evilly show that the Tea Party is racist. So when these people are telling me that editing stuff online, I didn't edit it, is the worst thing that you can do, these people were able to create the false impression that that Tea Party person was a racist when it was a left-wing...
But Andrew, John Podesta set up a group that attacked Michael Savage by sending edited tapes of mine to England and getting me banned in a Western nation. I have been the first victim of these vermin, Andrew, and I'm not going to be the last. They proudly said they were going to go after talk radio, and they came after me, but I don't want to make this about me. I know who John Podesta is. He's a very good friend of Hillary Clinton. They're very good friends of Media Matters. They're all supported by George Soros. You know all of this, Andrew.
John Podesta, all you have to know is he's the architect. George Soros throws the money, and it's John Podesta who organizes it all and figures out where he can propagandize and misdirect and try and marginalize those people that would disagree with their radical plans.
Right. It's a standard tactic of the illegitimate left. I understand it. Andrew, when do you speak to the National Association of Black Journalists, and how do you think you're going to be received by them?
I'm going to come in there with a warm feeling that I am telling the truth and that I have nothing to hide. And I have asked that all they do is offer me a 3-minute video where I can show them beyond a shadow of a doubt that I didn't just raise doubts by asking for a $100,000 reward, offering a $100,000 reward for any evidence that the N-word was said once, let alone 15 times, which is what Congressman Carson said. I was able to go out there and find 4 separate videos from the exact moment in time, and the videos prove conclusively that the yarn that was spun by Congressman Carson is a falsehood that was meant to demean and marginalize and slander a goodly portion of the American.
Andrew, I know you are right. I know